Welcome to Twin Busch. There's a new tips and tricks episode. Something different this time. Today it's about wheel balancers. Maintenance tips for a wheel balancer. It's a bit longer than planned. This machine was sent by a client nearby for checkup and calibration. Let's do some cleaning. To clean the plastic parts we use a normal plastic cleaner. Rinse water is okay. Make sure that no water gets into the machine through the keyboard or in any other way. Glass cleaner works very well. But I don't need to explain how to clean a machine. Take a look here. These are the typical problems. The client often complains about the quick release nut wearing out. This isn't caused due to the thread being sharp, because it is still intact. But you can clearly see alloy chippings from many alloy wheels. So you can recognize how the client uses the machine. This means the alloy wheels are simply pushed on without a feeling for it. And the pressure cup clamps relatively poorly here. The cone that is used for a steel wheel, everything jams. Then we have to do some servicing. We'll show this to you. First we take a normal wire brush. We clean the whole thread of the shaft.
Ganzen Gewindegänge der Welle.
It already looks a lot better. Here in the back, the contact surface of the pressure cup is very important. It must be very clean. If there is any dirt sticking to it or even rust building up, it lacks care. Of course, the contact surface is not perfect for the wheel then, which will eventually lead to wrong measurement results. We use some sanding pad or sanding fleece to clean the contact surface, roughly at first so that it gets clean again. I see some stuff coming out already. A sanding pad like this one cleans. It doesn't take away any material. Once again my recommendation, G-Tronics 360. It's a universal oil for almost anything. Now we make another pass with a rag. Of course, the heavy dirt you saw on the shaft earlier comes simply from people in the workshop who take the wheel and just shove it onto the shaft. Now we have alloy chippings again. So clean daily with the wire brush if this isn't done correctly. But simply pay attention. The shaft is fit again. Check the cones for dirt, scratches or damages as well. If there are some big damages, get them fixed or order a new cone, because if a cone already has problems with the reception of the wheel, it can certainly affect the balancing results negatively. Next step, check the quick release nut. This one was sent by the client. It still opens and closes. However, I'm under the impression that these teeth here, which hold onto the shaft, are already somewhat worn out. We have a new one to compare. We can roughly see that there's more distance here, there's more gearing. This happens when the client doesn't use the quick release nut correctly. Let's check if the old quick release nut works at all and grips. As you can see, the quick release nut cannot be tightened at all because it is simply worn out.
Und das kommt daher, weil
And
die
this
Kollegen
happens because the quick release nut is just released while it's tight, without loosening it first.
ohne vorher zu lösen.
A new one to compare.
Die greift. Man muss auch nicht
You don't have to be King Kong to tighten the nut, just hand tight is enough. What's important, as mentioned, is that the reception means for clamping the wheel must be perfectly clean. They must be able to interlock. There's no trouble then. A tip from my side, make sure that you always set the cone from the inside because wheels simply have the best centering from the inside here.
Hier einfach die beste Zentrierung von der Innenseite her. An der Stahlfelge wäre
It's not very critical if the cone is set from the outside of a steel wheel. However, with an alloy wheel, this area is just centered and precisely machined.
genau bearbeitet.
Well, there's also a centering ring here in the inside for different adapters, for different vehicles. And if you set the cone from the outside here, the manufacturer can never say exactly that this hole was machined precisely.
Hier, dieses Loch passgenau gearbeitet ist. Hier kommt lediglich
Wheel emblems are often mounted here.
rein.
Clamping from the outside is way worse than from the inside.
Weitaus schlechter wie
So, if possible, always clamp alloy wheels from the inside. We can also see that someone already clamped from the outside here. Then there is also the paint damage about which the customer will most likely complain. If a shaft isn't salvable anymore, then of course it is available in our shop as a spare part, as well as the quick release nut, the pressure cup. The cones are also available individually if one goes missing. Also worth mentioning, in the case of the smallest cone, I have one here. Wait a bit.
der schmale.
It could fall at some point. It fell here on this edge now, for example. Here we can see a very light deformation. Now it jams, of course. It used to fit before. Bring it to the lathe, have it reworked, because working with it now would produce wrong balancing results.
Schlechtes Wuchtergebnis.
If it's sanded down adequately.
Ist schlecht.
It's still bad, because this cone can certainly damage the shaft as well. I'll now show you how to correctly clamp an alloy wheel.
Alufelge.
It should be actually mounted carefully.
Aufsetzen.
New quick release nut, pressure cup from the outside.
So. Perfekt auf.
Perfectly clamped, and the quick release nut is correctly loosened by unscrewing it one turn.
Eine Umdrehung losdreht.
Now it can be released without damage.
Ohne Schaden.